Let's find out if Logitech's Flip Folio keyboard, their newest keyboard, is better than the Apple Magic Keyboard. Now, we're going to take a look at the keyboards together, we're going to test them out, we're going to take a look at the cases, and I'm going to give you my final thoughts on which one I think is better. Let's go ahead and get into it. Now, the price on this is $159.99 for the 11-inch iPads and $179.99 for the 13-inch iPads. They work for the Pros, the Airs, and the iPad. Of course, all links are down in the description below for you guys to check out for yourself. So, starting off with the packaging, this is going to be the brand new Logitech Flip Folio. So, it does say Flip Folio here. This is for my iPad Pro 13-inch, but it does work with the iPad Air 13-inch as well. You got a swappable Bluetooth keyboard, you have front and back protection, multi-device pairing, and all that fun stuff. Then taking a look at the back, you just get a little bit more information here. Adjustable viewing angles, easy magnetic attachment. You do get shortcut keys and a 2-year battery life on that keyboard. So, let's go ahead and open this thing up. Now, Logitech, I'd really like to see a better packaging than this brown cardboard box with just some pictures on it. Give me a little pull tab here, make it a little more interesting, a little more luxury for that price point. But anyways, enough rambling about that. Let's open this thing up. So, you do open it up here, and you get a little information on how to attach it right there to your iPad, but no worries about that. You are going to get some info here. So, the Bluetooth keyboard does come with a battery in it. So, you're going to pull the tab out of it. You're going to pair it to your iPad through the regular Bluetooth settings or any of your other devices. This is supported to up to 3 devices, and you're going to be able to use those. You type in the code on the keyboard, and it pairs super easy. So, taking a look, we'll just open it up here. This is what we are going to be greeted with. You do get some little paper right here, and then also, if I can close this here, you are going to get a little instruction manual right there, but you're not going to be needing that after watching this video. So taking a look at the keyboard itself, the case. So here, this is the back. It's going to say Logi on there, or Logitech, that's what it's there for. You do have your camera cut out here. On the other side, you're going to get the cover for your front of your iPad, and I just dropped it out here, but you are going to get your keyboard magnetically attached right here to the iPad. Now, if you do give it a little bit of a shake, it's not going to pop off of there unless you shake it pretty hard, but of course nobody's doing that. And then if you do remove the keyboard, you are still going to get that protection there, but we'll talk about the keyboard in a second. Then, when you do open this thing up, you are going to be greeted with your magnetic attachment area right here. So it's going to say Flip Folio, you do get your serial number, and then the inside of this, both of these are going to be this very nice, like, soft touch material. It's not going to scratch up the front or the back of your iPad. You have no worries about that right there. So what we're going to do is let's actually weigh this thing and see the thickness. We'll bring over our iPad Pro 13-inch right here. Of course, that is going to magnetically attach to that. Once it is attached, it's going to give you a nice magnetic connection. Just like that, you can hold it, and it's not going to come off of your iPad, so you will be just fine. Of course, don't do this. This is just for the video, but you will be fine with that. So let's go ahead and weigh this thing, and we'll actually bring over the Magic Keyboard, weigh it, and see the size of that as well. So let me go ahead and turn my scale on here. We're going to take a look at it in grams. Now, you guys may not really see it too well, but I will give you the measurements here. Now, this is going to be the Logitech keyboard with the iPad in there and a tempered glass screen protector on the iPad. Same thing for the Magic Keyboard when we weigh that. That way you guys know exactly what we're looking at. So the Logitech keyboard is going to be 1,459 grams. So that is definitely something that you need to note right there. And of course we will compare that still to the Magic Keyboard, but let's take a look at the thickness. Now, as you guys can see, the iPad is in there. This is with the keyboard attached. So I'm gonna go from the thickest part here, from where the keyboard is to the back of it. So taking a look at this, we are going to be looking at 19.1 millimeters there. And then just from the thinnest side here, we'll go 14.6 millimeters right there. So let's go ahead and actually take this thing off. Before we go and review the whole thing, I just want to show you guys what it compares to Apple's Magic Keyboard. So I'm just gonna move all this here. Sorry, these things are huge, so bear with me for a second if things are out of frame. But here we go. This is going to be Apple's Magic Keyboard right there. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and take our iPad Pro. We'll attach that here. So again, tempered glass screen protector, iPad Pro, and the Apple Magic Keyboard. So bringing over our scale again, let's go ahead and tear that real quick. Here we go. All right, so, and this one is going to be 1,308 grams. So the Logitech keyboard is going to be a good bit heavier. It's going to be a little bit thicker as well. So let's take a look at that real quick. So on this side where your Apple Pencil lays, we are going to be looking at 13.1 millimeters. And then over here, we're also going to be 13.1. So right here, all around, this thing is going to be the same thickness all the way around. And of course, it is going to be a little bit thinner than the Logitech keyboard. So definitely keep that in mind. But that price difference, though, is where you're going to probably make the biggest decision, because one is $179.99 and the other one is $400. So definitely keep those two prices in mind for what you're getting with each of these. So this is what we're looking like with it in the Logitech case. So first, let's take a look at its angles, right? Because that's something really important for me. I'm always watching content on here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to flip this back here. And this acts as a stand. What you do is you take the keyboard attached side right here. Again, the keyboard is right there. And this just kind of bends just like that. And you're going to get, this is going to be your biggest viewing angle, meaning this is going to be the tallest that the iPad is going to sit in. It's going to sit just like this in this angle. Now, of course, you can lower it all the way to down it being flat. And what you can do is you can definitely use your Apple Pencil with it. Now that's one thing about this case, is this keyboard is constantly coming off. When I'm sitting here and extending it, closing it up, I always make this keyboard end up falling off. I do wish this had a stronger magnetic connection to the actual case right there. So that's definitely something to note about that. But of course your Apple Pencil is going to work on here with no problems. Let's go ahead and make sure we can draw on that just like this. You guys can see, and of course you can just lay it down if you want to draw on this angle all the way to laying it flat, and it'll be just fine. And what's nice about this is that when the keyboard is attached to the case, even if it is on, which mine is actually off right now, but even if it's on, nothing is going to be clicked no matter how you use it. So anyways, those are going to be the angles. Now, of course, you can use it like this, or you can even set it up if you want to just like that in pretty much whatever angle you want vertically. That'll be just fine there. You'll have no issues when it comes to viewing content, although I do wish it actually did stand up a little bit taller. That's one thing I really like about the Magic Keyboard, is that you can take it and make the iPad stand even vertically if you want to. But, of course, you cannot lay the iPad down with the Magic Keyboard. So there's pluses and minuses to both of these keyboards. It really just depends on which one you think is best for you. But of course, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about which one's best for me. So anyways, that's going to be that. Let's bring out the main attraction here, and that's going to be this keyboard. So let's open up a note here real quick. Make sure we do that. Now, what you're going to do, mine is already paired, but it's very easy. Let me actually just show you exactly how you're going to pair it. So basically, you're going to go to right here. You're going to hit your Bluetooth right there, and it's going to be called the Flip Folio. You guys can see that right there. So here we go. That'll be just fine. Now, what we're going to do is actually turn this keyboard on real quick, and let's just go over what it has. Now, another thing I wish this had was a magnetic attachment to the iPad like this. Unfortunately, it does not, which would be really, really nice, but that's okay. You can use it pretty much wherever you want. So let's take a look at the keyboard itself. Now, starting off with the function keys, you're going to get a home button. These are going to be your 3 device keys. I have my iPad paired here and my iPhone paired there, but of course you do get 3 of those. To pair a new device, you just hold one of the keys down for a few seconds till it starts blinking fast. You go into your Bluetooth settings, hit the device, and then you're going to type in what code it tells you, hit enter, and you will be fine. So that's that. You have your screen brightness toggles here, lower brightness, higher brightness. You have your spotlight search, you have your mission control, emoji key, you do have a screenshot key right there. You have play, pause, mute, volume down, volume up. So those are going to be your function keys. And of course you're going to get right here, this thing is so thin, it's kind of slippery. You're going to get your globe icon here, which will allow you to switch between languages. So this is going to be a pretty much a 75% keyboard. Only thing you're missing here is a number pad. But let's just check this keyboard out. What we're going to do is we're going to type out the phrase, "the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," which that uses every single letter in the English alphabet in that one sentence. So we'll do that with this keyboard, and then we'll do that with the Apple Magic Keyboard. That way you guys can hear which one sounds better. So I did lay this down in a little bit more of an angle, that way you guys can kind of see how it types. So it's not going to always look like this. You can set it at the angles that you want. But let's start off with the Flip Folio, see how this sounds. So that one is going to be pretty nice and clicky. The keys don't have too much key travel, but that's kind of expected with an iPad keyboard. However, each click is nice and tactile. It's gonna work just fine. You definitely feel each button that you're clicking, and they have a nice, like a tactile sound almost to them when you do type on it. So it gives you, it's not just one of those like old style Apple butterfly keyboards from 2016 where it barely moves at all. No, this one you're definitely gonna feel each key. It has a nice feel to it as well. The keyboard has like a nice, almost like a coating on it where it's not rough, but it's almost like a grippy, like a super fine sandpaper. It's not uncomfortable, but you can easily feel each button. Every time you put your finger on there, you're gonna feel the button and you kind of know that you are on there. It has a very slight texture to it. It's kind of hard to explain. It's not completely 100% smooth, but I actually really like that because it kind of makes it feel like you're getting a little bit more of a tactile feel to it, a more premium feeling keyboard, and a nice click. So I really like that small touch. That makes using this just a little bit better. But now let's go ahead and check out the Apple Magic Keyboard and how that sounds. So the Apple Magic Keyboard feels really good to type on as well. I really have no complaints when it comes to typing on either of them. There's plenty of space between each key. Each key is nice and large so that way you can click it confidently and you know you're not clicking the wrong key. You don't have to constantly keep looking down. If you're someone who can type without looking at the keyboard though, you shouldn't have any issues between the Logitech Flip Folio or the Apple Magic Keyboard when it comes to actually typing on them. Everything is going to be just fine. But taking a look at the Apple Magic Keyboard as opposed to the Logitech keyboard, this is all I kind of have to show you guys because this is all that it is with the keyboard. So you don't have to have necessarily the case attached right away. So what you can do is taking a look, gosh, I can't even talk today. Taking a look at both of these right here, we're missing a few key items when it comes to the Logitech. So you're still going to get all of your shortcut keys here, right there and right there. So what keys are you missing between the Logitech keyboard and the Apple Magic Keyboard? Well, with the Apple Magic Keyboard, of course, you still do have your mission control, you have your spotlight search, you have your Siri button right here, which unfortunately on the Logitech, you do not get a Siri button. So you're going to have to use either the button on the iPad or a shortcut right here on the keyboard itself. And also, you are not going to get a lock button on these two or a do not disturb. Now, do not disturb is kind of, it really depends on what you feel about that, if you're someone who uses it or not. But you also on here do not get that lock button, which is actually something that I use all the time. Number two, you're not getting armrests. You're not getting your palm rests right here. Now, of course, you can use whatever surface you're using, but if you're in a really tight space, let's say an airplane tray table, here you at least still get your palm rests, whereas right here you do not. So that's another thing. And then, of course, that trackpad. I use the trackpad all the time on my iPad. I know it's right there, you can just touch it, but sometimes you just want more precision or you want it to feel a little bit more like a laptop. You don't want to touch the screen. Well, with the Logitech Folio, you are missing that, which for me is huge, especially because with the Apple trackpad, you can use different finger gestures for different things, whether it's 1 finger, 2 fingers, 3, or 4. So that's really nice that you can kind of do something like that with it, whereas on the Logitech, you have to touch the screen every single time, either with your finger or with the Apple Pencil. Now, neither of these keyboards are going to give you protection for your Apple Pencil, unfortunately, because it is just going to have the top of the iPad exposed there. I do wish both of them, but especially this Logitech one, because you guys know how Apple is. They're going to give you the most bare minimum and charge that price all the way up. But one thing about Apple stuff is they say it just works, right? But it does just work. You attach it, everything is good to go. Now, that brings me to another thing. It just works, right? So, with the Magic Keyboard, all you're going to need is your USB-C cable. All you need is your iPad charger. Unfortunately, this is not rechargeable. It does require one of those small circular batteries, and it is kind of tough to get it out. You do have to get it out of the front of it right here to replace that, so it's not super easy. Now, they do say you're going to get 2 years of battery life, so even if you do get it today, who knows? By the time you need to change the battery, you might not even have this iPad anymore. But if you do, it's not the hardest thing in the world to go ahead and change that battery. But that is something that I do like to see, especially because on the iPad, you're going to get 2 USB-C ports here on the Magic Keyboard. You get the original one that's built into the iPad here. So this you can use to charge, but you can also use it to connect something like an SSD or a dongle. But if you're using this to connect to a dongle or an SSD, you get another one right here for charging. So that's really nice to see, and that's such a slept-on feature, especially for somebody like me, a content creator. I'm using an SSD all the time between my MacBook, my iPad. I have SD cards that I have to read from this camera here and the camera you guys are watching me on right now. So having that extra USB-C port is really nice, whereas on the Logitech Flip Folio, you unfortunately do not get that. So looking at these two keyboards, which one is for who? And then which one is for me? So Apple Magic Keyboard is for the people that are always using their keyboard and want a trackpad. If you're somebody who's always typing on the keyboard, you're just a productivity person on the iPad, I can't recommend the Apple Magic Keyboard enough. The only downside for me is that it does rock a little bit when it's fully extended on not a flat surface. When the iPad's on it, it's gonna rock a little bit. But it's gonna give you that amazing trackpad, amazing keyboard, the 2 USB-C ports, and it's going to be natively connected, so you never have to worry about charging it. It uses the battery from your iPad, but it barely uses any battery at all. If you guys have one, or if you've ever heard of anybody who has one, you really don't even notice the battery drain from the keyboard. It's very, very, very minimal. I really never even notice it. But if you're somebody who's a content person, meaning you watch your YouTube, you watch your Netflix, you watch all that, honestly, I can probably recommend the Logitech Flip Folio more because you get access to just your screen whenever you want it. But when you do want to use that keyboard, it is just there, it's tucked away, you have it, you can set it down, type what you need to type, and then move it off to the side or put it back onto the case to where you don't need to have it all the time. You can lay this flat for signing documents, for drawing. I sign a lot of documents on my iPad, and that's one of the biggest downsides for me of the Magic Keyboard is that I have to always take my iPad off to lay the iPad flat, sign something, or even at a slight angle, sign something, and then send it away by attaching it back, typing my little email, and sending it. Whereas on this, it's nice. You can just kind of flatten it out, sign what you need to do, lift it right back up, grab your keyboard, and send that away. But for me, personally, which one am I choosing out of these two? I hate to do it, but it's gonna have to be the Magic Keyboard. I'm, like I said, a content creator. I use my iPad a lot to edit some videos sometimes, to do different things, answer your guys' comments on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram. But I also like to watch a lot of content. What's nice about the Apple Magic Keyboard is it does give you these angles. But I can definitely see myself using this one when I travel, for example, because especially on an airplane tray table, this is much smaller profile than something like the Apple Magic Keyboard. When you're on an airplane tray table and you're not getting too much space, you can still set this up and still have your little drink or your snacks right there, your food, all that stuff, whereas this thing takes up a good bit of that tray table. So it's definitely a market for both of these. I can see which one can have a benefit of both. For me personally, I'm going with the Apple Magic Keyboard. I hate it, but I love it at the same time. It's one of those things that's a great device if you need it. It's really, really overpriced. And in my opinion, it could cut half that price and then it would be worth it. It's still worth it if you really need it, but that's just that. Enough rambling about that. However, the Logitech Flip Folio, I can recommend this case. I've been using it the last few days. I got it as soon as I could. I've really been enjoying it, and I think next time I travel, especially when I fly, I think this is gonna come with me because I think it's gonna be really, really good while traveling and while just watching your content, reading your book, whatever you're doing. But you can still also do professional work. You can still also do your typing and all that if you need it and when you need it. But let's talk about the colors of the Logitech Flip Folio. Let's see those, and then we'll get out of here. So, taking a look at the colors, this color that you guys are looking at right here is the Midnight Black color. It's also gonna come in graphite, lilac, and pale gray. Now the pale gray is still on pre-order, but it should be coming out very, very soon. Again, all links are down in the description below for you guys to check it out for yourselves. But let me know what you guys think about the Logitech Flip Folio, their newest keyboard case for the 11-inch and 13-inch iPads. Make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. That goes a really long way for me and allows me to make these videos for you guys. And if you guys want to see my review of the Apple Magic Keyboard, I'll leave that video right here. And if you guys want to see one of the biggest contenders to the Apple Magic Keyboard from ESR, I'll leave that video right here.